Ladies and gentlemen, it's happening. Tom Brady is officially hanging up the cleats. He is retiring from the National Football League after 22 years. And this is something that I knew would happen one day, but I was surprised it happened now. Now, obviously, there have been rumors circulating over the past month or so about Brady luring the possibility of retirement, but it was reported Tuesday morning that Tom Brady would retire from professional football after 22 years. This was first reported on Saturday by Adam Schefter, nearly a week or so after the Bucs were eliminated from the playoffs in the NFL divisional round. Brady Sr. comes back and tells Crone 4 News that his son is not retiring. Brady's still pondering over it, still making up his mind. And here we are 3 days later, Tom Brady officially retiring. And before I want to dive into this video, I just want to shout out Tom Brady and just congratulate him on an outstanding career. Coming from a Giants fan, I admired watching Tom Brady. I grew up with this man playing football, and it was a real treat to have for 22 years. Watching him go up against the Giants in 42 and 46 are moments I'll cherish forever. And just seeing the way he was able to come back against the Atlanta Falcons, the resiliency he had against the St. Louis Rams in his first Super Bowl win, beating the Panthers and the Eagles back-to-back seasons, and getting his final and seventh ring with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And of course, who could ever forget the comeback against the Atlanta Falcons? Dan Quinn in Atlanta blowing a 28-3 lead. But Brady mentioned in a lengthy Instagram post earlier this morning that he was retiring with the heart symbol. Now, he didn't thank the New England Patriots in this post, which I thought was interesting, but he thanked them on social media afterwards. And also, he gave them a farewell tribute 2 years ago when he left for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This post was more about the Buccaneers because he spent his last 2 years with them. And obviously, people have talked about Tom Brady playing until he was 45 years old. He's currently 44 and a half. He'll turn 45 over the summer. Did he go out the right way? Now, there's really no right way to go out. I view this as typical Tom, right? This was an Irish goodbye. That's what it was. There was no warning. We had no clue he was playing his last game against the LA Rams. Some people speculated it, but if you're your average fan, majority of fans watching this game, sitting there watching him play against the Rams, you're thinking to yourself, there's no way this is his last game, right? Especially with the way they almost came back to beat the Rams. Outstanding performance by Tom. No Chris Godwin, no Antonio Brown. Hobbled up Leonard Fournette, did not have Tristan Wirfs. I mean, he was pretty much left with Mike Evans and Rob Gronkowski. So the resiliency he had to come back from, I believe it was a 24-point deficit. And I'm almost positive the Bucs would have won that football game if the Bucs defense didn't give up that bomb to Cooper Kupp, and the Bucs defense was kind of the Achilles heel all season, that secondary. So, it's a real shame, but we're going to dive into Brady's career now and talk about, his status as the GOAT, which is what a lot of people like to refer to Tom Brady as. Now, I think he went out the right way. Last win against the Philadelphia Eagles, redeeming himself for that one Super Bowl loss to Nick Foles back in 2018. I was very happy to see Brady eliminate the Eagles and get a little revenge there. This guy was a sixth-round draft pick, drafted 199th overall. A lot of people did not have him high on their draft boards at all. They were not impressed with his athleticism and mobility. But that's not what talent is all about. Talent is about the intellectuals as well. Of course, athleticism is important, but Brady was the most gifted quarterback this league has and probably will ever see. I mean, we're never getting another TB12 again. I mean, just look what he's done. Over the course of a 22-year career, the man's won 7 Super Bowls, appeared in 10. 5-time Super Bowl MVP, 3-time NFL MVP, hopefully soon to be 4. Not to mention a 2-time NFL Offensive Player of the Year and 2009 NFL Comeback Player of the Year. If you remember, 2008, he suffered a season-ending injury on his first pass of the season, and I believe that was caught for like a 60-yard pass, if I'm not mistaken. But that's a big note. He's still in the running for MVP in this season. Will his retirement carry weight into the NFL's decision? I don't think so. This man threw for over 5,300 passing yards this season and 40 plus touchdowns. Personally, how can you not name him MVP and how valuable he was to Tampa Bay down the stretch, leading them to a 13-4 record? One can argue that Brady would have brought the Bucs back to the Super Bowl if Godwin was playing, if Brown didn't walk out on his team, and if he had a 100% Leonard Fournette. And you're just looking at the course of this guy's career, folks, and how remarkable this guy really was. And this is a guy, you're going to tell your kids about one day, your grandkids about, because they'll never understand. He was the football version of Michael Jordan. That's what Tom Brady was, and that's what he always will be. His Super Bowl stats alone, he pretty much played a full NFL season in the Super Bowl. Over 3,000 passing yards in the Super Bowl game itself, 21 touchdown passes and 6 picks. That's through 10 Super Bowl games. Incredible. Brady's teams only missed the playoffs twice, 2002, where the Patriots went 9-7, and in 2008, where the Patriots went 11-5 with Matt Castle as their starting quarterback. I mentioned Brady did not play that season. Brady was also a 3-time first-team All-Pro, 3-time second-team All-Pro, and a 15-time Pro Bowler. I mean, right then and there, the guy is clearly a 2027 Hall of Famer. Clear first ballot. Brady led the NFL in touchdown passes 5 times as well, 2002, 2007, where the Patriots went 18 wins and 1 giant loss. 2010, he had a remarkable year, 2015, and then this past season, 2021. And he retired at the top of his game. When you get to that age, which what he did was unheard of, to play until 44 and a half years old, 45 essentially, and be at the top of your game. It seemed like Brady got better with age, and guys wanted to play on discounts for this guy. Look at, Shaq Barrett, Chris Godwin, all wanting to come back. Mike Evans, guys like that. Gronkowski came out of retirement to play with this guy when he went to Tampa Bay. So it's going to be interesting to see what the future holds for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But my gosh, he also led the league in passer rating twice, and he holds a laundry list of NFL career records. Most quarterback wins with 243. Passing attempts, passing completions, 624 career passing touchdowns. That record might never be touched. And over 85,000 passing yards, 85,520 to be exact. And this season alone, just to show you how good Brady was in 2021, he led the league in passing yards. It was a career high for him in passing yards, actually, 5,316. His second highest number of touchdown passes throughout his career. He had 43. I believe he had 50 back in the 07 year. And most pass completions in a season with 485. So some other notes on Tom that a lot of people don't know. And again, Tom Brady is going to be the topic of this discussion, not just for today, but for years to come, for decades to come. Again, like I said, this is some player that he's not some player. This is one player that nobody will ever forget. Brady threw, and some fun facts about Tom Brady now, which I think some of you folks might enjoy. Brady threw for more touchdowns in his 40s than he did in his 20s. Just goes to show you how the father of time and Tom Brady was able to adapt with the changes in the game. Brady was never a big runner. He was a pocket passer, and that's why he played as long as he did. He was smart. The way he trained, he absorbed hits. He knew when to take sacks. He knew when to throw the football away. He didn't try to run around for 20, 30 yards behind the line of scrimmage and throw one up for grabs like we saw in the AFC Championship game this past. And, Brady also, he won his first Super Bowl in his second season. He was the youngest starting quarterback at that time to ever win a Super Bowl. And when Tom Brady won his last Super Bowl last February, he became the oldest starting quarterback to ever win a Super Bowl. So he wasn't only the greatest when he entered the NFL. Well, he wasn't the greatest, but, soon to be. He was the greatest from start to finish, in my opinion. Also, he's the only player in NFL history to win a Super Bowl in 3 different decades. Just goes to show you how incredible this guy was and the landmarks that he stamped on this league forever. Now, as a Giants fan, I just want to throw a little bit of shade in there. Giants record all time versus Tom Brady 3-6. Now, granted, for an NFC team, that's pretty good. That's a better record than most teams have had against them. Giants have 3 wins, 3 close calls, and 3 blowouts. Tom Coughlin, former Giants head coach, finished with a winning record versus Brady between 2004 to 2015, 3-2 record. And, Brady mentioned retiring today. I feel like the luckiest person in the world. And to be honest, I feel very lucky to have watched this guy for as long as I did. And for those of you folks who don't know, yes, I am a New Yorker, but I'm also an avid Tom Brady fan and supporter. I've supported Tom Brady ever since I started watching football. I truly became a fan of Tom Brady's when, he beat the Falcons in that Super Bowl, because how can you not appreciate greatness, right? And his love for the game, his passion. Um, at that point, as a Giants fan, you're sitting there saying, why root against Tom Brady? Why would you want other teams to accomplish a feat that you accomplished twice? That's why when the Eagles beat Brady in that one Super Bowl, I was very upset, because that was the first time anybody else besides the Giants ever beat Brady in a Super Bowl, right? If the Giants didn't do this, we're sitting here. Brady has 9 Super Bowl rings, you know? So without the Giants, Brady is pretty much godly in the Super. I mean, he already is, but he's pretty much untouchable. But something about Eli Manning, he was able to do it twice. But Tom Brady leaving New England, going through the process of free agency, playing under Bill Belichick all these years. And what really made Tom Brady so great that people don't know, he turned no-name receivers into superstars. Perfect example, Wes Welker, right? Guy who bounced around practice squads early stages of his career. Miami, he was cut from the Dolphins. Dante Stallworth is another name. I mean, this year for Tampa Bay, Cyril Grayson and Tyler Johnson, Scotty Miller. Nobody knows who these guys are. And these are the guys he's throwing to. I mean, they were down against the Jets, and they come back and they beat them. Gronkowski was a big part of his career. Randy Moss had those 22 touchdowns that one season where Brady threw the 50 touchdowns. Trying to think of who else, because there were just so many guys that Brady could throw to out there. Julian Edelman. That's another example. A guy who was buried on the Patriots depth chart when he entered the NFL. And Brady and Edelman became best buds in New England. So I personally love Tom Brady. It's sad to see him go, but I'm happy for him. I'm happy for him. And a lot of people were like, well, did the Bucs play into this decision? Yeah, he was under contract for another year, but they did that for cap purposes. That wasn't a signal saying that, oh, Brady's definitely going to stay for a third year. I thought he would, because of playing until he was 45, and I thought he would want to go out. I mean, the dream case scenario for a Brady fan is for him to announce his retirement on stage hoisting the Lombardi trophy. But, I mean, it may not happen that way, but he did it at a great time. He's 44 years old, and this was obviously a personal decision for him. His family comes first, and you think about it, he has a son who I think is like a middle-aged teenager now. He has 2 other kids as well with Giselle. So, and that plays a big part in it too. His wife, right? His kids are older now, and they want to, spend time with their father. And Brady's going to do other things throughout the course of his life, but this is a man that nobody will ever forget. Now, my last topic here in this video that I want to bring up, is this the end of an era? Yes and no. Yes, because all the older quarterbacks are leaving. I sort of feel bad for Ben Roethlisberger now that Brady's retiring the same year that he is. But if you look at it, you still have Aaron Rodgers. You still have Matt Ryan. You still have Matt Stafford. You still have good quarterbacks that we grew up with. Now, there's not many of them left, but you're definitely right. The whole 04 draft class is gone. Brady's gone. Breeze is gone. I mean, Peyton has been gone for a while. What else is there to really, you know, look at from what you grew up with at the quarterback position? There's not much. And you're looking now, the oldest player in football is Andrew Whitworth, who might retire if the Rams win the Super Bowl in 2 weeks. It just goes to show you how long Tom Brady played, that the second oldest player in the league was 4 years younger than the guy. I do think it's somewhat the end of an era. He even mentioned it's time for guys like, other young quarterbacks to step up, and we've seen them. Look at the Super Bowl this year. We have a second-year quarterback going to the Super Bowl. Brady did that in his second season. We'll see if Joe Burrow can accomplish that in 2 weeks. But congratulations to Tom Brady on retirement. Hopefully he wins MVP this year. He will go down as the best quarterback to ever play the game of football. And there is a debate if he is the best player to ever play the game of football. As a Giants fan, I have ties to Lawrence Taylor, the way he changed the game. But, I mean, there's an argument that Tom Brady is the best football player ever. Clearly the best quarterback of all time. And congratulations to Thomas Edward Patrick Brady Jr. on his retirement. Folks, if you liked what you watched, make sure to subscribe to us on Review and Preview Sports. You can see all of our social media platforms on the ticker below. Appreciate you all watching us. And this will be posted to our YouTube channel at Review and Preview Sports. Thank you all so much, everybody. Have a good one.